Hi friends, I'm Katie. Welcome back to my studio. Today let's talk pens. So, you may know that I am a pen enthusiast, is probably the most flattering term we can use. And this has been my favorite pen for a while. It is the Pentel Energel RTX, I think. Doesn't actually say that, but I think that's true. And with the needle tip in a 0.3 millimeter nib size. That part is important because I picked this pen because I really, as a person who can and doesn't mind writing small, I really like it for how I can write in a 1.5-inch box. So, for example, if I've got one of these dotting tools, I can make a little thing, and I like how much I can write across this side before I run out of space with a pen this small. So let's say that I need to schedule the video to go on YouTube. I can write all of that across in a nib this small. If I were using, I don't have any big gel pens because I don't really like, but let's try this Jelly Roll 06. I have to write bigger with this, and now I'd have to do schedule vid, which is fine, but the bigger the pen gets, let me find another one. All right, this is a Sigma Micron 08, which is very big, but the bigger the nib gets, the bigger you have to write. And that's totally fine, but I kind of prefer that I can get as much in one line as possible. I prefer not to go down to 2 lines. So this 0.3 millimeter needle tip has been my favorite. However, we're talking about a new potential contender. We'll get to that in a minute. We'll have to see. So the problem with this is, well, let's start with what's great about it. Besides, it's not the only 0.3 millimeter pen in town, but this Energel ink is so smooth. I never have any skipping. I don't have any problems with hard starts or anything else, which I find really irritating. No problems with this ever. So smooth. The problem is that in this 0.3 millimeter tip, it only comes in 3 colors. Black, like a very primary blue, and a very primary red. And those just don't work for me. I also don't love this pen body. Fortunately, it's a really easy to move the cartridges into other pen bodies, and so I do that regularly. But I still find myself wanting to use different colors. So I have spent a lot of time looking at other 0.3 millimeter pens and wondering if I would like them, and just never really pulling the trigger. Then I was on YouTube for entirely different reasons, and I came across the idea of fountain pens. Now, you might be thinking about fountain pens as like big, beautiful, flowy script, and that is gorgeous, and I do enjoy doing some of that. But that is not why I bought this first one. The others came afterwards. This one is a Pilot Kakuno. So it's really, well, can I get it to focus? There we go. It's really inexpensive. I think this was about $10. And it's nothing special from a body perspective, but the writing nib is really, really nice. And this is the extra fine. Pilot is a Japanese company, and their nibs tend to run small. So a Japanese style extra fine is incredibly fine. All right, except that we're gonna have to talk paper. Hold on a second. Okay, here is a sample page that I've been playing around with. This is on 32-pound paper or 28-pound paper. I don't remember. But these are 1.5 inch wide columns. Let's do our little dots. So here we'll write schedule video. And here's the fountain pen. And it can also write incredibly small. How small it writes, unlike the gel pen, is dependent on the paper. So I'm pretty sure this is my 28-pound paper, and you can see maybe that it's bleeding just a little bit. I have other papers where it doesn't bleed. And you can see, let's do it on this one too. Just how fine that is, right? So much finer on this paper than on my regular 28-pound paper, even though the gel pen is pretty much the same. It's not exactly. So the nice thing about using fountain pens is that you can choose from a whole range of colors. I don't have a particularly exciting color in here right now. It's like a gray blue, but it is kind of a nice break from like the primary blue that the Energel comes in. I find it to be very serviceable. And so that is why this is maybe becoming my new favorite pen. But it's not without its complications, right? Your paper matters. Here is a page of a spread I did a couple weeks ago. This is on my 32-pound paper. This is a laser printer paper, and I got very nice fine lines with my fountain pen. This was a different ink, but look how cool it looks. I got really nice fine lines on this 32-pound laser printer paper, which isn't typically what I print my layouts on, but it's what I'm going to be printing my layouts on because it's easy to change this ink whenever I feel like it. I don't put very much in it. I don't know if you can see, it's kind of stained, but that's not where the ink is. There's only a small amount of ink in here, so it lasts about a week. And then I can match or coordinate my very fine pen with the spread. And so I don't have to just use black or red or blue. And there are thousands of ink colors out there. Editing Katie here. It just occurs to me that this video would benefit from an actual writing sample on the 32-pound HP paper, which is what this is. So I'm just going to show you again. That's how nice and crisp it looks. There's a very small amount of feathering, but it's really not bad for kind of generic, not specific fountain pen paper. Let's do a quick smear test. Now that will depend on the thickness of your nib, but we're mostly talking about the extra fine today. And the ink. This is the Colorverse CMA. And immediately, okay, that dried super fast. I was expecting there to be a little bit of a dry time there. Yeah. Okay, so if you do it absolutely immediately, there's a small amount, but it really, I'm not going to speed this up or anything, although I can tell I got a little blob there. So we'll give it a couple seconds, and there it's already almost gone. So I wouldn't worry about, by the time you figure out what your next plan is and where, I would work from up to down and from left to right if you're a righty like me and you're writing the way we do in English, just so that you're not like trying to go back over immediately, but it really doesn't take long. So this is the Pilot Kakuno, extra fine. We'll give it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's all dry. So I hope that addition is helpful. Back to the video. So, is this the right pen for you if you also like really fine writing? Maybe. Very possibly not. This pen is hard to beat. It works. I think it's got a combo ink. It's not just gel. I think it's combo of gel and another kind of ink. And so it dries really fast. It's not smeary. For black ink, I don't think you could get better. If black is not your color, or not your only color, then I think this bears consideration. But you need to be willing to be considering what paper you use. The HP 32 pound laser printer paper is really nice. Both for, I mean, it is what I print layouts on when I know I'm using like a really juicy, like brush pen. So I already had it. It's highly recommended in the planner community for people who are printing their own layouts. So it's not like you have to get anything weird or esoteric. But you do need to be thinking about it. And you need to be a little more careful about not smearing it. Because it doesn't lay down a lot of ink, in general, it doesn't smear very much because it dries relatively quickly. The more ink you're putting down, the slower it will take to dry. But I really like it. I'm willing to deal with some of the fussy things. I haven't gotten rid of my Old Faithful here. I wouldn't recommend you do. But I do have something like 15 colors now that I can ink this up with and really enjoy. And so I've seen a lot of positive things about this pen. What I haven't seen is like, if you already know what pen you like, will you like this one? And if you like the Energel and you're willing to buy nice paper, you might really like the extra fine Kakuno. It does also come in thicker widths. I don't have any of those yet, but there are fountain pens coming my way. So we can do more of a fountain pen collection video coming up soon. This one I just wanted to talk about this extra fine Kakuno in case, like me, you love a really fine tipped pen. So anyway, this may or may not convince you to try it. It is a deep, dark rabbit hole where you can easily collect a lot of things and spend a lot of money. This pen is very inexpensive. Ink samples are also very inexpensive, but they have a way of multiplying. So no one thing I have gotten is very expensive, but I have spent quite a bit of money recently on all of the things that I bought. So anyway, I hope you found this interesting. If you've been ever wishing that you could like pick your perfect ink, this is not a bad option. And if you want to see more fountain pen stuff, as well as more just plainer stuff, hit the subscribe button. It won't be all fountain pens all the time, I promise. But I just thought I would talk to you a little bit about it as a pen enthusiast perspective. All right, bye friends.